Right, everybody, and welcome back to the 1% podcast. I'm joined by the incredible, I get to say PCA Pro now as well. So PCA Pro athlete and just incredible woman, Amy. So welcome to the podcast. How are we doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Not too bad. So obviously anyone that kind of doesn't know you and things like that, just kind of give like a little intro into who you are, what you do, and what's everything about.
Okay, so I am a bodybuilder, online coach and personal trainer, and I do specialising in nutrition, as that is what my degree is in. From uni, I did a 4-year nutrition degree, and yeah, that's pretty much it.
Sick.
Well,
And yeah, it's good. So, and obviously, like you can tell from the accent, you're definitely from Scotland, right? So kind of give like a backdrop to like, even growing up and things like that. Have you always been to kind of into sport, into kind of fitness and things like that? And just a little bit of the background there.
So I was always into sport. My dad was an international volleyball player. So from a young age, I was at the side of a volleyball court every weekend, sitting there with my sister and my toys. So I was kind of not forced, but like I got to try everything. Any sport that I wanted to do, I was in it. And I did a lot when I was younger, but I fell in love with gymnastics. So I was a sports acrobatic gymnast for 20 years. So that's basically what kind of shaped my physique, basically. I did it from the age of 4. I did like recreational gymnastics, started acrobatic gymnastics at 7, and had a small break when I was about 16, as you do, because you turn rebellious and want to try new things. Jumped back into it when I was 18 until I was 24 was my last competition. Like this week, like 4 years this weekend. So I've always been into the sport. Like even at school, like I was runner, done trampolining for a while. Naturally fell into the gym to get better at the gymnastics, and it's just kind of snowballed from there.
What kind of made that transition happen? Because we got very similar backgrounds. So kind of what made you kind of just go more gym route instead of gymnastics?
So like I had started following people on Instagram, like gym goers. Like this is going to sound really stupid, but when I was at uni, obviously I was doing nutrition. So I was like, oh my God, I have to eat super healthy, super clean. I went through a phase of just eating. If I didn't recognize the ingredients on the back of something, I wouldn't eat it. So it was like clean eating.
Yeah.
Through that phase at 19, when I didn't really have the information that I have now.
Yeah. And
I was hitting the gym hard, training really hard, and I started to see my abs come through, and that was it. Click. I was like, right, I'm into the gym. And literally learning myself. So finding people on Instagram that I was like admired and like followed. I was following what they were doing in the gym, just as you do, like kind of hit style stuff and just playing around with weights. And then I started watching people when I'm in the gym and like copying what they were doing. So like watching the guys lifting the dumbbells, and I was like, I can do that. And then obviously it helped with gymnastics a lot, because acrobatic gymnastics, you're lifting people.
Yeah.
So I always kind of strength training with gymnastics, because I was using the people as weights.
Yeah.
So when it came to lifting dumbbells, it was easy. Like it just went naturally. Transitioning into bodybuilding, I was coming to the end of my gymnastics career, and I must have been 23-ish, and I went into the gym, and my old coach Sophie Brewster spotted me. She was like, have you ever did a competition? And I was like, yeah, I'm a gymnast. She was like, no, like bodybuilding. And I was like, no, but that's the kind of people I was following on Instagram. I was like, no, but it's something that I'm interested in. She was like, give me 3 weeks, I will get you on that stage. And then within 3 weeks, I was on my first prep for bodybuilding, and actually transitioned over my last competition for gymnastics.
Hang on, so
I basically didn't stop.
Was that 3 weeks to get you like on stage?
No, 3 weeks, and then I started my first prep. It was only 14 weeks. I wasn't I wasn't exactly fat because I was a competitive gymnast and I had some decent muscle on me from gymnastics and pissing about in the gym. So 3 weeks later, I was on prep and I actually won my first show, and then the rest is history.
Damn. And then when was the transition moving from Scotland to here, right?
Dubai. So I was on prep for British finals in 2018. Came fourth. We won't talk about that. That was not happy. But got an invite to World Championships, so I had to cut a lot very, very quickly for those 2 weeks. Now, within those 2 weeks, I was fired as a gymnastics coach for basically just not doing my job because I was like so deep in prep.
Yeah.
Was made redundant. I was fired. So I left that prep. My head was all over the place. Like I was so small. Like I lost quite a lot of size during those 2 weeks because I was dieted really, really hard. But it's what we had to do. And my mum's best friend lives in Dubai. So after the show, I was like, I need to get out here, straight to Dubai. 5 weeks in Dubai, and within that time, I found a job. It was gymnastics coaching and personal training at the same gym, in the same facility. Had some interviews, came back home for Christmas, and then I had an exam, I think, for something. I can't remember what it was. And then I was in Dubai in January 2019. That was that. Like, so it was like opportunity at the right time. It's what I needed at that time.
Yeah. And how are you finding life in now? Still, you still enjoying it?
The first year, I hated it.
I'm glad you said that.
I was like, I'm home 1 year. I'll wait till my visa's run out, and I'm home. And then no, I was like, I just don't think I could move back to the UK now. Like a week's holiday there is enough. Like I can see myself other places, but right now I'm kind of living the life. So, like this is where my life is now, so it's different.
Yeah.
Like I remember my best friend, no, it'll just be a year, and if I don't like it, I'll come back. And then like 3 years later, I'm still here.
Honestly, yeah, like I generally think the first 6 months to like a year, it's because you come here on holiday, right, to start off with, and you're like, yep, I can see myself living there. And then when you actually live here, you're like, it does take your soul a little bit. And you're like, it's a lonely place, like unless you're surrounded by like the environment that we're lucky enough to be in and things like that. But it's very lonely and things like that. I think people get it very, very mistaken when they see it online.
Side of it, yeah. I mean, like my first year here, like I didn't do it properly. I moved here with my ex-boyfriend, and we just stuck together like glue. I didn't make any friends. All I was doing was training and working because I had to work, because I had to make sure that I was paying that rent. I didn't have that work-life balance, didn't explore the place. It was actually only after lockdown that I was like, wow, I've got no friends. Now I need to start doing things. And since then it's changed. Like it's changed my whole view on Dubai. Like it's so much better. Like that's what I think a lot of people forget, that you need friends to make it work anywhere.
Yeah, 100%. And it is though, isn't it? It's just making sure that you don't need many people, but just making sure you got the right few friends around you.
Like-minded people, for sure. Like I was also working in a gym. Like commercial.
Your audio is going a bit funny.
Is my laptop definitely? Is that better from closer?
Yeah, still a bit crackly. If in doubt, blow it. That'll work. Actually, go on. If that worked, that's incredible.
Yeah, I was in a commercial gym, so I wasn't surrounded by like-minded people until again after lockdown. Obviously, my ex was like-minded, but you're stuck to one person. It's just so hard. But you need those people around you to push you further. You need them.
Yeah, 100%. And kind of going back to guys like university side of things, like you study nutrition too, because 4 years, that's more than just a degree, right? It's
an honours degree.
Is that, yeah? So,
I'm sure it's different in Scotland to England. England only do 3 years, I think.
Yeah, I wouldn't know. I like dropped out anyway, so it's fine.
I actually did 5 years at uni because I was absolutely shit at school. Didn't get I basically went to for my last year at school so that I could go to prom. Like I got nowhere. So I had to look at like a year at a different uni to get into the course that I'd done my 4 years at.
Okay. Do you, okay, like, because obviously you studied nutrition from like, I'm not going to say like the perfect formula, right? You've got the university degree, like whatever you want to call it. When people are like, oh, I'm a doctor in this and things like that. So you've got the like the scientific background to defend you, but the way that you teach, I guess now from lifestyle, bodybuilding prep, is there, yeah, I was going to say, is there like a big divide?
Yeah, because you've got like your knowledge, but then you can't go all technical on lifestyle people. They don't know what you're talking about. So it's like translating it from the scientific that's in your head to something that everyone's going to understand.
Yeah.
I actually wrote an ebook last summer on like nutrition 101 and tried to put it into a kind of simple way.
Sick.
Can you hear my cats?
It's cool. We'll keep them in.
They're because I've locked it. But yeah, I wrote an ebook to try and like, but it was mainly for my clients actually, to try and put it like my knowledge into an easy way for people to understand.
Yeah.
But it is hard. It is hard.
I think this is the thing that I'm very much kind of scientific, but I'm also very much bro, where I'm like, it's incredible to have the knowledge, but like if you can't portray it and if you can't put it into a way where people understand, it's completely pointless. It's like when you'll probably know this, when people talk about like biomechanics and things like that, like your joint needs to be at a certain angle and then you need to pull into the and you're just like, can you feel it?
Yeah.
That's for me. I'm like, can you feel your lat? I'm like, cool.
I know an average person doesn't know their bicep from their tricep. So yeah. I'm like, right, where do you feel it? Point to the muscle. And I'm like, great, that's where we want to feel it.
Yeah. And
point to a different muscle and I'm like, right, something's off. Like it's like putting it in baby terms. As that sounds really like condescending.
No, but it's so true though, because I would rather learn like that 100%. Yeah. Like if you sat here and taught me like the micro breakdown of a broccoli, like, do you know what I mean? Like what you probably know, right? You probably know exactly what vitamins, minerals, and all this sort of stuff.
No, I know minerals and stuff, but like the actual like entails of a broccoli, no chance.
Yeah. But then it would
I'm just going to tell people that eat the broccoli because it gives you all the vitamins and minerals that your body needs.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. And I generally think that's, unless people ask the question and they want to know, then 100%. But like, even for us, it's like, so I know you work with Dan and things like that. And you could be like, oh, bro, why are we putting in a split squat here instead of here? And he would just tell you exactly why. And you'd be like, makes sense. Like, do you know what I mean? Because you would.
To me, and when just cause, I'd be like, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
But that's okay. So this is, I've had the last few days where I'm getting a bit fucking pissed off with the fitness industry. And
oh, especially in Dubai, dear God, it's bad.
It's bad. I've literally just listened to kind of half a podcast, and it is very much like you said at the beginning, like you followed people on their HIIT workouts and things like that. You probably get quite a few people just approach you, vice versa. And like, they come out with these things like, should I be doing supplementation here, here, and here? Should I be doing cardio here, here, and here? And you're just like, there's so much shit out there and it's so overwhelming. You're like, what the fuck do I do? Yeah. Like, and I'm kind of getting annoyed because 95% of it is bollocks still.
On the flip side, it's all half of it's bollocks. Yeah. Literally like half of it it's like your best exercises for building a booty, and it's like band kickbacks, and I'm just like but it's the easy way. It's easier than like a hip thrust. So 95% of the population want to do that instead, but then wonder why they're not getting any results.
And you know, the best thing is that you literally said it, and you said the easy. And I don't know why, like I've said this the last few days, and I'm just like, I don't know why people want the easy way out when it comes to fitness and health. Like they want this 6-week or 8-week or 12-week like all their problems solved, the abuse they put their body under years. Oh, we're going to sort it out in 6 weeks. Not a problem. And you're like, And
like
you
constantly. I'm just like, it didn't take you this long to get this big. Why do you think you're going to lose it in 3 days? They're like, my weight's not changed. And I'm like, I don't expect it to change. It's been 3 days. Have you stuck to plan? No. Okay, well.
There you go.
And
you nailed it down as well. Like, and give it, like, again, given the easy exercise, like, yeah, glute kickback, super easy. You can do it at home and just fucking put a band around your legs and like, you can get a little burn. But teaching someone to, like, I think you said it to me in the gym the other day, and it was like being able to load a bar heavy and control that movement it's going to give you the best results in the long term, but it's going to take you time to learn that movement. And I found that people are getting very frustrated 2 weeks into a training program, and they're like, oh, I'm struggling with this movement. Like, you're not struggling with it. You're just getting used to it. Like, you're just like building up the mechanics of it from a nervous system point of view.
People just don't understand that part of it. And it's hard to explain to them because you're so far, you're like, they don't think that you think like them.
Yeah.
But they forget that you started somewhere as well. Like, I had to learn how to hip thrust. Like, at some point, I had to learn how to back squat. It might have happened at a very young age for me because of my background in gymnastics, but at one point I had to do it.
Yeah.
It doesn't just happen.
And then this is that thing. It's like, people will be like, oh, it's good for you because you can do it. I'm like, I don't think people like, again, it's like, why are people not understanding that, like, you spend the last 20 years plus years doing a sport and then transitioning, like, your body awareness alone, like you said, coming into fitness, like, you're like, oh, I can do push-up variations and I can do pull-up variations. So straight away, you know how to do a lat pull down and a bench press.
Yeah.
And like, but people just see, like, say, for example, it was quite nice because obviously I saw you on stage twice. Yeah, twice. Yeah.
Yeah, British Final. There was another one, I'm sure.
Yeah. Did you do Birmingham?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, so like the Birmingham and British finals, right? Because it was the same place.
No. Yeah, Birmingham was British finals. I remember seeing you there.
Yeah.
I don't know what other one it was.
I can't remember. Maybe it was just the one, to be fair. But people can very easily just go on your Instagram and be like, oh, like, that's just her now. Like, she hasn't had a chapter 1. But that's the thing. Like, you're on chapter 28 and people aren't reading through the other chapters of your life to get there. They didn't see all the years of, like, fucking up on a leg press, fucking up on this, for you to be able to be like, oh, okay, now she's a British champion and she's a pro. Yeah. But people just bypass that. They're just gone, oh, chapter 1, chapter 28. How did you do it in the middle?
I get it quite a lot that they're like, oh, I wish I had your dedication. I wish I had your willpower. And I'm like, you don't understand that dedication and willpower came from gymnastics. Like, I learned that dedication growing up. I didn't learn it when I started the gym. Like, they're like, oh, but, and I'm just like, no, but that's just how it is. Like,
yeah.
It just shows you that people's background plays such a big role in where they are.
Yeah.
Like, you get people coming into the gym and they physically can't do like a body weight squat. And I'm like, how do you sit down? Like, what, like, how do you sit down and stand up off of a chair?
Yeah.
I had a woman one time, she couldn't shoulder press the 1 kilogram dumbbells.
Oh yeah.
It's like, you have a child. Like, how do you lift your child?
Yeah.
Like, with little strength. It blows my mind. It blows my mind.
It's a really like, sometimes, like, don't get me wrong, I think that's why I have people like you on this podcast, people that generally are making an impact. But there's too many like amazing things being sold out there to people that aren't true. Yeah. So, and it's like again, like, I can just use you as a prime example. It's like, you've spent years and years and years trying to, again, like, be more disciplined, whatever it is, but perfecting your skill. And it's like, if I said, oh, like, Amy, you're so disciplined. Discipline is something that you can learn. It's a very easy tool that you can learn. All it is about building routines and habits. And as soon as you build routines and habits, you get defined as, oh, you're really disciplined. But no, it's just routine and habit.
Like, I worked to make it happen. Yeah. It didn't just come to me.
But it's like, I just want to go in. You know when you want to attack, like, you just want to go in on it. But but it's like, it's the mentality of, you have to put in the hard work. Like, it's as simple as, you have to put in some, go on.
No, they don't. Like I said, that's what people don't want to do. They don't want to put in that hard work. They want the easy option.
But it's funny though, because if you translate this to be like, oh, like, but do you know what's amazing? Because like you probably work, I've worked with lawyers and doctors and things like that. You'll happily go to law school for 7 years and work your ass off and be a doctor for 11 years minimum. But when it comes to your health and fitness, you're like, oh, fuck this in 4 weeks' time. You're like, is this the same person that's a doctor who's actually, you're going to go into my brain next week? I'm like, I don't want you in my fucking head if you've got this mentality because you can't achieve shit in 4 weeks. Like, do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, literally.
But I don't know. Go on.
That feels like that's obviously their passion. So it's easier to, I'm the prime example of this. See if something doesn't interest me, it goes straight over my head.
Yeah.
Like straight over my head. See the amount of times my mum has had to explain politics to me. It's embarrassing. And still, I'm just not interested. But if someone was to sit down and have a conversation to me about nutrition, I'd be on it. Like it's, if something doesn't interest you, I think a lot of people that like get PTs, online not so much online coaches, because if you get an online coach, you're in it. But PTs, especially over here, they do it because it's a trend. They do it because they should be doing it, not because they want to do it.
Yeah.
That's where the first issue starts.
I think that's such a big problem though, isn't it? The fact that you feel like you have to look after your health. Like you have to.
It shouldn't be an effort to look after your health.
No.
It should be a habit. It should be the opposite way around to what it is just now.
Yeah.
I've seen things on Instagram recently and it's like, why is eating fast food has become so normal that eating a salad is or eating healthily is viewed as not normal.
Yeah.
It's obviously put better than that, but I forgot what it was.
No, that's cool. But that again, it's like, it comes down to it. Like everything you see online is just someone's opinion. Like, again, like me and you could have exactly the same person come to us and be like, cool, we could write like, okay, cool. Write me a training program. We would write 2 very, very different training programs. Both would work. But at the end of the day, it just comes down to what you think your opinion is going to be best and what I think my opinion is going to be best. But then it comes down to it. I'm like, I think I posted it today or something like, it doesn't matter if I wrote you a shit training program and a shit diet, but I'm like, if you can consistently do it, it will get you results in some shape or another. I could write you the best training program, the best diet, but if you cannot adhere to it, what's the point?
It's going to get you nowhere.
Yeah.
Like it will get you nowhere if you don't consistently adhere to it.
Literally. And then, but then, because you 28?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think anyone under the age of 30 now, for some reason, maybe a little bit older to be fair now, maybe older. I don't know why everyone's so entitled.
Oh.
So by me, like, oh, I've done really well this week. I've ate really well this week. I've trained really well this week. Why am I still in the same position? Like a week.
1 week.
And
I always kind of try and put it back to like, not on the same level, but I try and say to them, I'm like, look, it took me in my last prep 26 weeks to get from A to B. I lost 17 kilos in 26 weeks. And that was being on point consistently every single day, not missing a beat. And you think you're going to lose 20 kilos in 3 weeks?
Yeah, by going at 80% as well.
Drinking and smoking, and well, not that smoking makes a difference to your appetite, but not going to the gym, skipping your steps because you're tired. Like, it's going to take you a hell of a lot longer than 26 weeks if you're not going to be on it. I don't expect people to be on it as much as somebody prep, but as an idea, this is how long it takes.
And that's it. And I say this to kind of just like anyone that wants to drop body fat, feel more confident on a summer holiday, look great for their wedding. I'm like, you just need to show up and do 80%. I don't expect you to do prep mode. I don't expect you to go to 110 for the next 12, 16, 20 weeks, whatever it is. Just show up and just do 80%. Because if you consistently do 80%, you will benefit a lot longer than going, because you know what it's like. Prep, you can only go 110 miles per hour for so long and you're fucking done.
Yeah.
But if you can run it like even like off-season mode, like I'm quite happily in an off-season now, and I'm just like 80%, because it's a longevity game.
Yeah, because if you were to hit 100%, you'd burn out. Still, that's where
Yeah.
deloads and stuff come in, obviously. But it's people don't understand that. I have an issue with clients just now that don't want to take rest.
Yeah.
I'm like, do you not understand that like this is how you're going to progress. You will, if you put in 100% train every single day for 4 weeks, you're going to be absolutely fucked.
Yeah.
You're going to be fucked, and then that'll be you'll give up.
Yeah.
Like you need to trust the people that know and stop arguing against them. If that
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah.
Like
100%.
trust the people that actually put out knowledge and put out results instead of trusting the people that look good and do a booty workout once a week.
Yeah. So this is what I'm finding a lot. Like the typical thing is, as soon as someone puts IFBB in front of their bio, that's straight away like, oh, you must be like amazing. But what I think a lot of, so this is for anyone listening, like this is no disrespect to anyone that's an IFBB pro, like full respect, like you've earned the right to be a pro and things like that, and you've to a high caliber. But just because someone has a name and a thing on their name does not make them the most educated in their field. And also, I think what you have to remember is that because someone is a pro or a professional or a doctor, or whatever it is, that is their full-time job.
Yeah.
So like, I'm not a pro. My full-time job is a coach.
Yeah.
And then you have to remember their full-time job is potentially, because they're an IFBB pro, they're potentially getting paid by endorsements, supplements, or whatever it is. So actually, their coaching comes second to them.
Yeah.
And then because a lot of the time they are I'm not going to go with the genetic route, but 100%, a lot of them are very genetically gifted, that sometimes they can just genetically build more muscle. They can genetically get leaner a lot better. They can genetically look more symmetrical. They are the 5-10% of the world population. And I think obviously like us being here, like you see a lot of pros come in and out and things like that, obviously traveling through Dubai and even in Dubai. And just because, like you say, like because someone posts like 4 sets of 10, I'm like there's nothing wrong with 4 sets of 10, but I'm like, it's the most generic kind of like, you can go on Google and find every training program 3 sets of 10. You kind of know where I'm going with it. So it's fine.
It's kind of this. It's basically the same as somebody who competes one time and suddenly they're an online coach. Like just because they did it doesn't mean that they can coach it.
Yeah,
that boils my blood. Like it really boils my blood. Like I know people that like haven't even been training themselves for a year.
Oh no, don't.
And they're on coaches. And I'm just like, where's your life experience? Where's your experience working with people? Where's the experience working with the different populations? You have none.
Yeah.
How can you be an online coach? All you're going to do is take what you were given and pass it to someone else.
Yeah. I found that
too often.
Yeah, I had that with my first prep as well, actually. My mum actually called me out on it yesterday. I spoke to my mum on the phone call. And she was like, you know, the first show you did, you look really shit. And I was like, oh, cheers, mum. That's coming from my mum, that someone doesn't really know much about it. She was like, to be called shit then, I was like, fair. But she was like, he didn't really coach you that well. And I was like, no, you're right. I literally did his training. I did his diet, his training, everything. It was just literally copy and pasted what he did. And at the end of the day, I learned a lot. I learned a lot from that kind of that failure. But what I've seen you in the gym with different clients as well and things like that. And what you have to remember is that how a good coach can adapt extremely well from a personality standpoint, from a training standpoint, from a communication standpoint. Like it could be anything from someone giving more support, like you're touching hands-on a lot more. Like I've seen you do that a lot more. And that's a good coach, someone that can adapt their personality.
But there's also the flip side on people that come in and they just want to chat. So you do like today I was sitting on the sled, like the prowler, while my client was pushing it.
Yeah.
Because to him, that's a bit of fun.
Yeah.
But I'm still getting him to work. So people are looking at me like, what the fuck is she doing? Like sitting on the sled while our client's pushing it. And I'm like, because he's here for fun.
Yeah.
He's not here for anything else.
Yeah.
But to be able to adapt it, like it takes time, it takes effort, but then that one-to-one experience is gonna like that transfers into online coaching.
Yeah.
Like I've dealt with all these clients, all the
Yeah.
ones that come from different, that need different things.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing. Like you get it from, especially from like ever since lockdown hit, the COVID, right? Everyone is into crypto. They're a business mentor. They're an online coach. They're doing all this sort of financial stuff online, right?
Yeah.
But for me, the best trainers are the ones that have visually touched and felt bodies for years. From a gymnastics point of view, you had your hands onto different bodies the whole time. Like I was on the gym floor for 5 years before I went online. We've dealt with different bodies. We've almost as well, like when someone's training hard, you can feel the tension in their body. You can feel these things. And if someone sends you a training, so if I sent you a training video of me doing like whatever, like on WhatsApp, but I cut my feet out of a squat, you would still know kind of how my feet are looking because of the way my hips and knees are moving.
Yeah.
This is when it comes down to a very, very good coach.
That comes down to experience.
Yeah.
And the problem with the fitness industry just now is that people don't have that experience and they're too lazy to get it. They want the easy way.
Yeah.
So they think that online coaching is just a bit of easy money, and it's so not.
So hard.
It is so hard. It takes up all of your time.
Mm.
Like time, what the hell's that?
Yeah.
Like, what is that? Like it took us like how many weeks to get this started?
Yeah, like 2-3 weeks.
It happens. Like it annoys me. It does. It's one thing that really, really annoys me in the industry is uneducated people.
Yeah.
Trying to make a quick buck.
Yeah. And I think that's why it's nice as well. Like you're very good at it and vice versa. I think it's quite nice, like, because there's a few of us that all train at like kind of that 10-11 o'clock AM mark. And it seems to be all the people that are very, very like-minded. And
which is really good.
What's that?
We'll be up at like 6 a.m.
Yeah. Yeah, literally. But it's so important to make sure, because like at the end of the day, you need to put your head down and focus on you. You can't let like at the end of the day, you know that you're a good coach and you're not going to let other people distract you and things like that. But I think when you can give such good value, can generally impact lives, it kind of hurts a little bit that like people are like listening to this advice. And sometimes you just wish, I just wish I had fucking a million TikTok viewers and a million things like that. So I could just generally give out and like, be like, this is shit, this is shit, this is shit. And you can just help more people. But all those people are very entertaining and have more followers and worse knowledge, sadly, most of the time.
The best thing to do is just be yourself. Like that's where you're going. That's where that people are attracted to personality.
Yeah.
And there is a lot of people that have got the same personality just now. So when you're a little bit different, that becomes people are drawn to you.
Yeah, it's so true.
Yeah.
People are drawn to emotion for sure.
Yeah. I really like training around that time because you get chatting to people and you learn things from the people you're chatting to because you are like-minded with them.
Yeah.
Even if it's just a conversation, you do learn from it and like ways that they do things. With watching them train, you can be like, oh, okay, that's cool. Like I wouldn't change where and when I train for that reason.
Yeah. Yeah, very, very true.
Because of the environment, because of the atmosphere.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I moved abroad purely for that. So it's, so literally.
I mean, I didn't, I just fell into it, but I fell into it at the right time.
Yeah, 100%. Like, and sometimes it's just like, you just need something to come into your life at the right time, the right moment. Like, again, you come out of potentially having a boyfriend here for the first year, and then you're like, actually, and then you get very clear on what you want, and then you step into the right environment and everything starts to unfold.
Yeah.
So it's brilliant.
Like, I'm a very independent person. I always have been. And like I live by myself, completely by myself, and I still get shit done.
Yeah.
Like I still follow my own routine. Like I'm always going to be like that.
I think this is a thing like anyone can take from this. Like if you generally want to change any position you are, life, body, career, you got to fucking take control of your own life. Like you literally just said, like, it's my job to get up in the morning. It's my job to make my food. It's my job to drag my ass to the gym. As soon as people can understand that everything is your fault and your responsibility, you'll have a lot more clarity because you know exactly what needs to be done. But also like, you will feel like the sense of pride is phenomenal. Like when you tick off the little things, like, yeah.
On Sunday, I went to my bed. I actually messaged my best friend. I was like, I feel so content. Like, this has been such a good day.
Was that your long day? Was that your long day when you're like, I'm going to go to bed and watch?
Sunday's my long day, but see, once I tick everything off,
Yeah,
I'm like on cloud nine. I'm like, this is great. Like, wake up on a Monday morning and I'm like, here we go.
I think I saw your story like that, and you pretty much said that in your story, so it's awesome. What's your plans for this year? What's going on? Because I feel like it's March now, but I feel like this year's going slow but fast.
Oh, the January was so slow, and then February just
dead.
didn't exist. Well, I am currently on prep again.
Oh, okay.
I'm not shouted about it because it hasn't been so long since I got off the stage, and I was very lean for a long time.
Yeah.
It was 10 weeks between coming off prep and starting again.
Wow,
in that time, there was 4 weeks of a reverse diet. So
damn.
we'll see. I'm not shouted about it because I'm just kind of plodding along, seeing what happens. I don't want the pressure of having to explain anything if I decide to pull out. But it's a very different prep to what I've ever done before. It's going so slowly. Like this is week 6, week 7 maybe.
Okay.
And only last week that I eventually dropped some weight.
Yeah.
6 weeks into the prep, and I've dropped weight finally.
Yeah, but that's also a very good marker as well. Sometimes.
Yeah, like my theory behind not giving myself a long off season is I want to know where I stand in that pro league.
Yeah.
Before I make any changes.
Okay.
Because what's the point in doing a big long off season, cutting back down, getting on that stage, and still not being the level that you need to be at? I want to know where I stand before I go into an off season.
Yeah, true. That's actually a really good point. Because I think I put this more to a guy's point of view, like because obviously it's the same, right? It's the same in male or female, right? It's either you need more mass or you need more conditioning or whatever it is. Yeah. But do you know what? Yeah, it's a really interesting point you said that, because I was like, if I got to the end of this kind of like this gaining phase, and I was like, if I need longer, I'll take another year off season. But now I'm like, even you just saying that, I'm like, okay, regardless of not, cut down, see what's there, see where you stand. Yeah. And then you can be like, do I need 2 years, 3 years, a year? Like, how long do I need to build what's needed?
Like in my last off season, I was like, yes, like I've made some serious leg gains, like good glute gains. I cut down and I shit you not, I turned to the side and I was flat. Yeah. I was like, okay, so I definitely didn't. So like you're always going to there's always going to be perception in your off season. Like you might look like you've got massive delts, you cut down and they're gone, because that's just where you hold your body fat. Yeah. So you need to do the cutting down phase of things so that you know where to go.
Also, again, like you say, in order to because obviously if you're in an off season too long, like you probably just need to shift off that body fat, like get yourself in a responsive state again, so you can.
Yeah, there's an optimal body fat for muscle gaining. Like you push over that, and you're not gonna be responsive. So you need to pull it back.
Yeah, you just feel shit as well. And also, it comes down to things like actually, like I do that now. I'm like at a point where like, do I want to take my top off? Not really. Like, so it's and even just from like
all too well. Like I don't hold particularly lean. I never have. I probably never will. You hear the cat?
They're going for
it. So in an off season, I do hold quite a lot of body fat, and I hate it. But I can hold more than what people know because my frame is really small. Yeah. So people are unaware of how small my frame is. So I'll hold 17 kg, which was the last time. People will look at me and be like, you look normal. And I'm like, I feel normal. Like 17 kilos of body fat for someone with such a small frame is a lot. Yeah. And I cut down and people are like, how are you so small? And I'm like,
yeah. I think I remember actually that was a while ago when you said obviously you were lean for quite a long time. I remember you posting up there, someone saying, it was a while ago, someone commenting in the gym about you being skinny or something like that. And it was good. You went off in a good rant about it.
I held it for so long through the full prep. I held it and I was like, don't get annoyed. Then I was actually just off of prep. So I was reverse dieting. So I was eating a lot. And then between my shows, my food was high. Like I was not hungry. Like my food was high. I was in a really good position. And I was sitting eating at the time. And someone came over to me and was like, you're looking awful skinny. And I was like, how dare you? I was like, you have no idea. I was like, how fucking dare you? He was like, you should probably eat a bit more. I was like, I'm sitting eating a sandwich as well. It was bread.
Yeah, bro, carbs, man. What are you on about?
And I didn't even say anything to him. And the look on my face must have said it all, because he never ever said anything to me ever again.
Oh, amazing.
He didn't speak to me. And it was somebody that I would speak to in my old gym all the time. It was one of the members.
Oh, really? That's, yeah.
So he watched the process.
Yeah.
And it was obvious that I wasn't just cutting and like getting skinny, because I do hold quite a bit of muscle.
Yeah.
And he was
like,
you should eat a bit more. And I was like, fuck you. I was like, who are you? It happens all too often. Like, why do people think that it's okay to comment on someone being slim, but it's not okay to go and tell somebody that you're a bit fat, you should stop eating so much?
Yeah. It's, and also as well, like, I think you touched on that subject, like, no one knows what you're going on behind the scenes, right? You could have had someone in your family pass away. You've gone into an eating disorder, like this is the extreme, right?
Literally what my point was, is that you have no idea what's going on in someone's life. And for you to comment that you think that I should eat more, well, I think that you should stop being a dickhead.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
That's one thing that really bugs me on prep. Really bugs me.
And I think also as well, like I get it a lot more from a female standpoint as well, because even like a lot of time as well, when you're that low body fat, your cycle's gone. So you've lost that feminine touch as well. And again, it's little things like if you haven't got your boobs done, your boobs decrease and things like that, because obviously body fat. So you feel sometimes like less feminine. So going up to, I don't like, regardless or not, going up to anyone, but going up to a female and commenting things like that is just a bit like, have a heart.
What, like, even at that, that's your opinion.
Yeah.
Like, why? Like,
yeah, why? Just why? Yeah. And that's the thing as well. Like I think when people look at people in fitness, if I just judged you from straight away from a profile, you think, oh, they've got it together, they're fit, they're attractive, all this sort of stuff. You have no idea what goes on in people's lives, like besides an image. And I think that's what nice, obviously, like you're very transparent online, which is good. But anyone that competes or anyone that trains, it doesn't have to be bodybuilding. It could be the fucking pro tennis player. It could be anyone that's into sport. They push their bodies and minds to a place that is uncomfortable. They get down a lot of the time. They question am I good enough? All this sort of stuff. And a lot of the time, we athletes, whoever it is, are generally sometimes the most vulnerable as well.
It's very, very hard to, I can't even remember what I was going to say there. What you said something? Nah, it's gone. It's gone.
It's fine. But yeah, that's it. I think as well, like we have such high expectations of ourselves where we put ourselves down.
I don't remember what I was going to say.
Go whilst it's there. Go.
Especially in a sport that is aesthetic.
Yeah.
And you're constantly getting judged on how you look. That in itself plays a big part in what goes on in people's heads.
Yeah.
Huge part.
Yeah.
It's got to be the same as like you said, a tennis player who's got all that pressure. If they don't play well,
yeah,
they fucked up.
Yeah.
Like the pressure in itself makes it so much worse.
Yeah. And I think that's like you touched on it before. It's making sure that like coaches actually train and they practice what they preach. So I understand when people go into gaining phases and they look a bit squidgier and they don't look as appealing for like marketing, business, work, potentially to their even own clientele, it can get them maybe a little bit down, but they know that it's the thing that has to be done. It just comes down to clarity and knowing your journey. Like if I said, Amy, you got to take 2 years out to grow, and you're going to have to put on a good amount of body fat and things like that. You know, you're in it for the long game sort of thing. And you know that you'll take that sacrifice and that risk, because you know at the end of that 2 years, everyone will go, how the fuck did you do it? And I'll be like, because of that shitty 2 years.
Yeah, literally. And that's the part that people don't see. They don't see behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Or if they do see it, they don't pay attention to it.
Yeah. I did that. I posted up, I had a client do like a photo shoot not that long ago. And you know, when you put before and after image, they're great because they look appealing and things like that. And I remember someone DMing me saying like, oh, that's not realistic. And it's like, it's not nice to see and things like that. And I feel like going like, you have no idea what people just see those images again. And you have no idea. It was I think it was very similar to your prep. It was like 20 to 26 weeks it did to get someone into that shape. But you have no idea of the WhatsApps, someone crying over the phone because they're proud or they're struggling that day. You have no clue. All you've done is seen before and after, and you have no concept of the in-between.
Yeah, but they think that happens.
Like that. Yeah.
They don't see the struggle and the effort and the graft that it takes to get from A to B.
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah. Anyway.
And they don't want to see it. They don't want to see it.
Yeah, that's the difference.
It makes them feel bad for not being able to do it themselves.
Yeah, and just taking action as well. Like people do all the time. It's just like, oh, Monday, New Year's, whatever it is. I'm like, just fucking drink a bit more water today. Like if you eat,
like just show up 1%, like you said. That 1% is going to change something in the future.
100%. And going back to you a little bit. So obviously in prep a little bit at the moment, but we don't need to kind of go into too much detail about it. So it's fine. Obviously nice and slow. So obviously you'll kind of look into whatever, if you back out, whatever it is, absolutely fine. Anything past that, like any plans this year? Or just kind of head down focused on prep mode, really?
See, I've not even been in that tunnel vision mode for the prep.
Cool. That's quite nice though, right?
Yeah. It is and it's not. It is because I'm obviously more sociable and I'm getting things done, but it's harder to actually get my cardio done, prep my food. I'm having to force myself to do these things rather than have just been in tunnel vision, just getting it done and avoiding my life.
Yeah.
So I'm still living my life a bit, which is nice.
Good.
But literally, I don't have plans. I've got one of my clients competing in the first timers in 2 weeks' time, so I'm going with her.
Sick.
To Peterborough.
Yep.
Literally all I've got planned. One of my friends is competing in June.
Yep.
Might be going to Alicante.
Nice.
But we'll just see.
Just wing it. Just wing it. That's cool.
After this prep, like I'm coming out and going into quite a big off season. Like I do have quite a bit of growing to do, I would say.
Yeah.
So hitting off season for at least 6 to 8 months, at least.
Yeah, 100%. And what's because category wise, what did you do? Like, what's category wise you're doing? Because you do fitness as well, right?
Kind of. So I went into the prep season last year as a trained bikini athlete.
Yeah.
It came down to I was ready early, and Dan and me both decided that I could be doing with some stage practice. So I was going to one of my client shows the week before British finals, because I was going straight into British finals because I won it in 2019, so I just got a free pass in.
Oh, sick.
So I was going for that title. And Dan was like, why don't you try athletic figure? Because he had been trying to get me to do athletic figure since I started with him at the start of 2021.
Yeah.
He was pushing for it, and I was like, yeah, do you know what? Fuck it, let's do it. 5 days from the competition, I was like learning new poses.
No way. That's great.
Up a routine, borrowing bikinis. Like, luckily, because of my gymnastics background, I don't find posing particularly hard. Yeah. So I picked up the poses quite easily because I know my body.
Yeah.
Won that one, took the overall, went on the week later to do the trained bikini, won the class, and the feedback was from the judges to stay with athletic figure.
Oh, okay.
It was ultimately the end of my trained bikini. My bikini run. I then done a show. I done the Dubai Muscle classic muscle show.
Oh, did you do that?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
I've done that, and do you know, I can't even remember the category. I won it, but
I was gonna say, was there other women on stage?
Yeah.
Okay, it's fine.
I don't remember the category, but I did figure poses, so it must be something. I don't know.
Either way, it worked, so it's fine.
But then I took the advice and stayed in the athletic figure and went to the PCA Open, which I was planning to do as trained bikini, but because of the feedback, I went into it as athletic figure. Took the class win, took the overall, and got a pro card. So I think I am more suited to athletic figure, but we won't tell Dan that I admitted that.
We won't. We just won't. Just blank this bit out. It's cool.
But yeah, so I'm sticking with the athletic figure.
Cool.
A lot of people have asked me if I want to go into IFBB, but at the moment I do not fit a category.
Yeah.
I don't. Somebody came up to me in the gym the other day and was like, you should do IFBB bikini, and I was like, excuse me? I was like, what?
Like you're past, you're too far past bikini.
Yeah,
you got too much size.
Bikini. Like, I get small enough, like physique wise, but muscularity, I'm too big for bikini.
Yeah, you would have to lose muscle.
Yeah, and I like training upper, so I'm not planning on doing that. But on the flip side of that, I'm far too small for figure.
Yeah.
And I be at the moment, and I don't know if I'll ever be big enough because of how small my frame is.
Yeah.
Somebody suggested fitness because of the gymnastics background, but again, I think I'm too small.
Yeah, because it was interesting to kind of watch the Arnolds as well, and obviously watching Wellness. Was it Wellness, that class that did really well? But even then, like, it's not so much because their upper body is very bikini. Their upper body is very, very bikini. It's just the lower body where you're like, fuck me, those legs and glutes. But you're, again, like, if you got to that size with your legs, your upper body would just be like, you would get marked down because your upper body is too big in that sense.
Like, I've got quite broad shoulders anyway.
Yeah. Like, your upper body is crazy. Like, when I think I've seen your pose of just like, you just stand face on, right? And it's just kind of hands on hips. Yeah, like that pose. I'm like,
really funny. This is going to sound really, really cocky, right? But I remember Manchester 2019. I was playing around in the backstage before I went on the stage, and I hit that pose.
Yeah.
And I was like, fuck, look at this. And I showed my friend Caitlin, and she was like, oh my God. So I hit it in the pose down, and then I hit it in the finals.
Okay, yeah.
And nobody else done it. Nobody else done it. Came back this year, and every single person hits that pose. Yeah. And I'm like, I started that.
I was gonna say trendsetter is fine.
Like, that as a bikini athlete, nobody hit that.
No, of course, yeah.
Nobody was hitting that, and now it's such a popular pose because it just makes you look. You
see it in a lot more classes now as well. Like, even when I watch like the open class bodybuilding, even when they do their most muscular now, I'm like, it's not like they try and hold, like they don't crunch down anymore. They like fully open up, and they flip, like they do that X shape now. The style,
call it the power pose.
Yeah.
When you hit it, eyes are on you.
Yeah.
If you hit it right, eyes are on you.
And I think this is nice, kind of where the sport's going as well. There was that phase of where it was just pure mass and the aesthetics got lost. And now it's all about bringing aesthetics back. So like, it's the same reason classic, and again, like wellness and all these like train figure, whatever it is. That's why all these classes are doing extremely well, because they visually look fucking sexy, really. Like, and you see, that's what it should be. That's what it should be. And you see like open bodybuilding now, and like the fact that I'm like, I think, who was it? Even at like the top, all of them, to be fair, like they all had abs and they could all vacuum, and they all looked like fucking tight waist, and they were like 250-pound dudes. And you're like, Jesus Christ. Like, so like, it's nice that, yes,
in a really, really good way.
Yeah, 100%. And I think that's what's nice, that hopefully if like that's the direction everything just keeps going down. Same with like we talked about coaching and all this shit. It's like, at least there is a lot more people out now there giving good advice.
Do you know what my favorite thing is now? Is that looking at a bikini class, they have muscle.
Yeah, that's so true.
I hated it when a bikini class just looked like somebody with a good body.
But it was though. It was like Jess from the gym who did 6 months of training, who was pretty, had nice blonde hair, decided to do bikini, and she placed top 3. And you're
Yeah,
like just
that's
because
not bodybuilding.
no, no,
Like I really like how the bikini side of things has progressed, because it
yeah,
actually looks like these girls train,
yeah,
and that is what it should be.
yeah, 100%. And even when you like, I even just started like I trained with Steph on legs once, and I was just like, fucking hell, like you're quite strong. Like I was a bit like shit, like yeah, and it
Yeah.
is nice to see, but it is nice to see 100%. So no, it's a nice way that I think fitness in general is going, and now that I think bodybuilding is getting a healthier reputation as well now, which is great. So it's brilliant.
Like people used to think that bodybuilding was literally chicken and rice. You don't eat anything. See the amount of people that ask me like, "What are you eating? Have you just cut out all your carbs?" And I'm like, "I'm eating toast for breakfast. Are you joking?"
Yeah, yeah,
Like people, and like my little client just now as well. She couldn't believe it.
it's
When
crazy,
I
isn't
was
it?
giving her like bagels and stuff, she was like, "What? No?" And I was like, "Yeah."
Yeah.
Like on you go.
And
Yeah.
then also this is, I think this is like the benefit, like when you have muscle, you have to eat a lot of food. The
No,
benefit of it.
it's the same with like fitness girls and in the gym. Like there's a lot more information out there now
Mhm.
that to and a lot of females are forgetting like the stereotypes and stuff, and they're just doing what they want to do and how they want to look.
Yeah,
There's it's so nice to see so many females lifting weights now.
there
So
is.
when I
There's
first
a
started
shit ton.
in
Yeah.
the gym, females didn't go into the weight section,
Nah.
and I would regularly be the only one in there,
Yeah.
regularly, and now it's completely flipped.
Yeah. It's a
It's
lovely,
really, really good to see.
it is a lovely mix now. I think like, to be fair, even today, like if you go in today, I was like, it was generally probably like 60% women in there today. I was like, shit, like, and
They're
it's
all
great.
in there doing their own thing.
Yeah.
They're all in there working on themselves.
Yeah.
Like whether they've got an online coach, a PT, whatever they've got, they're
Doesn't
in
matter.
there
Yeah.
doing what they want to do, instead of the stigma being that men lift weights and females do cardio.
Yeah. Yeah. I think we're definitely
We're past
70%, we're 70% there. We're getting there.
we're
100%. Like, yeah,
past
which is
that.
good. So it's cool. But no, honestly, my love, I know you've got stuff to do and things like that. So you're busy with time. If you can give anyone one piece of advice that will take them 1% further forward tomorrow, what would that be?
I don't know.
Oh, that's brilliant.
I'll think of something. Somebody asked me this before. I don't want to say the same thing.
You can't say the same thing. It's a different show, different podcast. It's fine.
I would like, okay, right. So I would just tell them to be themselves. Just be you. Do what you want to do, because you're always going to be judged from somewhere. You're always, regardless of what you do, you're going to be judged from someone somewhere who doesn't think that what you're doing is right. So you need to focus on you. Whether that be, like you said, drinking a little bit more water, whether that be spending an extra 10 minutes in the gym, just do you.
Amazing.
You can't be someone else. You've got to be you.
Yeah, so true. So true. And I think me and you can definitely take that advice sometimes. Just make sure we stay true to ourselves and have clarity. So it's great.
I
But
think
no,
I'm true to myself. I'm an idiot. Like I'm a very knowledgeable person, but I am a world class idiot. Like, but it makes my life so much more entertaining. So it's fine.
yeah, too right. That's it. But no, absolutely amazing to speak with you. If anyone wants to stalk you, do what they want to do, what's the best way to find you and things like that?
Instagram. So it's, don't laugh. It's it's she's so Amy _ PCA Pro.
Yeah, but that works well. You just said be yourself. She's just Amy. That's fine.
Huh?
There you go. Easy, my love. No, it's cool. Absolutely amazing to speak with you. And you training tomorrow? You're resting tomorrow?
Rest day tomorrow.
Okay. So, what days are your rest days?
Wednesday and Saturday.
Are they actually? Same as mine, so it's fine.
We should have probably programmed that one.
That's it, yeah. I was like, when you're like, oh, cool, it's perfect. That's why I see you in the gym all the time. All your rest days.
Yeah, like, same rest days.
Yeah, it's perfect. No, absolutely amazing, Han. So thank you so much.
Thank you for having me on.